I take the floor to answer the question posed by Honorable Virendra Lal about how the ministry can undertake actions to ensure that bullying and brawling involving school students are not repeated. Mr. Speaker, may I start by saying that bullying and brawling are behavioral issues, and the ministry, neither the ministry nor me, can assure or ensure that such behavioral issues are not repeated. However, we do have a number of policies that act as a deterrent for students as a whole as to not engage in bullying and brawling. Mr. Speaker, my ministry is committed at providing education to all Fijians apart from attending to indiscipline issues. We are committed to instilling good student values and behavior, and this is not only done through the teaching of curriculum content, but through the entire school system. Children in schools are taught values education right from the beginning. Our teachers continue to shape and mold future leaders into good citizens. To ensure children continue to display good behavior in schools and out of schools, we have a number of policies in place. Mr. Speaker, these policies act as a guiding principle to our heads of schools and teachers that also aids in controlling incidences such as bullying and brawling, which involves students, amongst other unwarranted behavioral and indiscipline issues in schools. These policies are developed by the ministry and aligned to 1, the Fiji Education Act 1966, 2, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child 1993, the Child Welfare Act of 2010, and the Constitution of the Republic of Fiji 2013. Mr. Speaker, our teachers and the ministry is guided by 5 significant policies that protect and safeguard the welfare of students while they are in school and outside schools. We have the Student Code of Conduct, the Behavior Management Policy, Drugs and Substance Abuse Policy, Counseling Policy, Child Protection Policy. Mr. Speaker, the heads of schools and the teachers are mandated to abide by these policies and act upon it. So while these policies enable the ministry to instill good behavior and values in our students, it cannot be done by the ministry alone. We ask parents and the public to step up and assist the ministry and the Fijian government in ensuring that we continue to nurture good Fijian citizens. Currently, we are drafting the parental engagement policy in line with the Pillar 4 of the reforms in education sector that will ensure students continue to display good behavior inside and outside of the schools. Mr. Speaker, the policies are also under review because of the changing behavior of our students in and outside schools. The parental engagement policy is designed to create greater communication between children and their parents with the ministry. And while the ministry continues to make significant investments in the welfare of our children, we urge parents to be more sensitive towards the needs of the children in teaching them good discipline and behavior. Mr. Speaker, it is evident that good behavior stems from good parenthood, from homes, and there are many factors that contribute towards the way a child behaves in and outside school. We have found bullying to be a major problem in our government schools, and recently we met up with all the heads of schools of our government boarding schools, and we are in the process of finalizing a document which will create an enabling environment between parents and those students that reside in our boarding schools. Of course, we encourage parents to ensure that children do not learn such behavior from within their home environment. As much as we'd like to provide our children with the much needed support care within our schools, we urge upon parents to teach discipline so that students do not exhibit such behavior of violence in and outside schools. In any case of bullying in school or brawling in school and outside schools, the heads of schools are guided by these policies to make sure that the behavior of the students is documented, counseling is done, parents are advised, and of course, if it tantamounts to assault and harassment, then the other responsible authorities are involved, such as the Fiji Police Force. But at all times, Mr. Speaker, we urge our students to display good behavior within the schools. The only way we can stop these students from displaying such behavior is having these policies that act as a deterrent. But we cannot assure that these behaviors will not be repeated by these children in and outside schools. Teaching our children good behavior is a whole of community approach, and we have school counselors, we have child protection officers in schools who are trained to signal out such behaviors such as bullying and aggression, etc. And it is the onus is on the heads of schools to ensure that the children in the schools are protected. The ministry devises policies that allows the heads of the schools to manage such behavior by following all the 5 policies that is related to students' conduct and behavior in our school. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I thank the Honourable Minister for her response to the question about bullying. My question to the Minister is about the steps that have been taken or programs in place to deal with online bullying between students. And what is it that the Minister is doing to deal with that when it is to do with students of a school, because bullying doesn't just take place in person, it also takes place online. Yes, I do know about that because I've been called an nincompoop by the Attorney General. So he should be ashamed of calling me that word, because it takes one to know one. Yes. So the question back to the Honourable Minister for Education, Attorney General, is about online bullying and what it is that the ministry is doing to deal with that issue. Thank you.
Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. When it comes to the question of online bullying, I am not sure whether the honourable member is talking about online bullying during school hours or outside school hours. As a ministry, we take responsibility for our students during school hours. And in this case, when students have access to internet and computer labs, they may be engaged in such things. And we urge our the teachers to be more vigilant on that. In cases of online bullying outside school hours, I would suggest that students exercise more responsibility in sharing of information or posting of certain things that tantamounts to online bullying. And of course, we have our Online Safety Commission, and I'm sure the public and the parents are more aware of the steps that can be taken. We have a cyberbullying unit in the Fiji Police Force, and we are working with the police force in addressing a number of issues that also includes cyberbullying and the reporting that must be undertaken by the concerned parties if they feel they are being bullied online or harassed online. But at all times, responsible usage of social media is something that we encourage amongst all our students.
The Honourable Lewera, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I thank the Honourable Minister for her response, and just a simple question on: are there plans to strengthen good citizenship through traditional and cultural practices, and integrate them into different subjects from early childhood to Form 7? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have a values education, moral values education classes, values that is incorporated in a number of subjects within our school curriculum. We also have a specific time dedicated to values education teaching, which includes moral values. Last year, Mr. Speaker, I put forward this suggestion to all the faith-based organizations when we had a meeting, that they come up with one curriculum that is universal, with universal values that could be taught. Unfortunately, the response I got from the various faith-based organizations was that they still prefer to teach their own faith values, which is proving to be very difficult given the fact that in the school system we have a curriculum to complete. So we are still pursuing that idea, but very basic values education still remains within our school system. Mr. Speaker, so what I'd like to suggest here is that in most cases, a lot of these things are shifted to the school system. Unfortunately, we fail to understand that values and discipline starts from home. So I suggest that we strengthen our parental engagement with our children to ensure that teachers are not burdened with everything. So we will pursue with this topic and see how much more we can do, but we still have a values education curriculum that is instilled within our schools by our teachers.
Tumbua, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My question to the Honourable Minister is in relation to councillors. Could the Honourable Minister just explain exactly whether all schools have councillors, and do these councillors also need to teach, or are they just councillors and they stay as councillors?
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, sir, I did not get that question.
Could you repeat the question, Honourable Member? We can hardly hear you.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Minister, my question is in relation to councillors within the schools. I just wanted to know if each school has a councillor, and do the councillors also teach classes, or are they exclusively councillors? Vinaka.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have two categories of teachers who look after the interest of our children. One, we have the child protection officers who are trained, and every school has a child protection officer who also teaches and looks after the incidents relating to anything that has to deal with children's welfare. We have district councillors, and we have now with more trained counselors coming out of ABTC, we have distributed these counselors within districts. They don't teach, they are only responsible for counseling the children. As of yet, we don't have one counselor per school, but we have one child protection officer per school. So we have divisional and district counselors who move from school to school on a need basis, counseling children on various issues. And Mr. Speaker, so if I may go back to what Honorable Tambuya asked me regarding online safety, there is a I Am Digital campaign by Save the Children Fiji and Facebook together, and this is to address issues on children being harassed or bullied online. I Am Digital campaign.